So we're talking about the deal story of the Lakeland Antique Mall. Um, Interesting backstory. Started as a traditional deal, just a real estate acquisition. One of the first we did at V3 Capital. Bought it on the 10X auction platform. First time we'd ever done an auction deal. We underwrote it. It was a former sports authority. It had two tenants in it, Chuck E. Cheese and this Lakeland Antique Mall, which was run by a third-party operator who was just a tenant. So as we're getting through the deal and operating the property, our tenant, who was expanding, ultimately ended up expanding too quickly, taking cash flow from Lakeland to support his other operations, and ultimately had to file for bankruptcy.
People weren't getting paid. So obviously at that point, the business starts to nosedive quickly, because if I'm a vendor, which I was at the time, if I'm owed $5,000-$6,000, I'm not really I don't have an incentive to put more merchandise into the store if I haven't been paid for previous months.
Obviously that's not ideal, never good as a landlord when your tenant files bankruptcy. But we had understood the business early on and knew the management team. And so kind of took an odd step as we're getting into the bankruptcy filings and approached the trustee of the bankruptcy and asked if we could take over and operate the business. He thought through it, got approval from the judge, and ultimately granted us, if we dropped our claim in the bankruptcy, to be able to be given the business. We had the contact information of their employees and their vendors. And all this happened within 2 weeks of Black Friday, which, as everybody knows, kicks off the best retail season for shopping.
It was worth every penny. The sales are phenomenal compared to then. V3 was great, just making everything stable again very quickly.
So here we are in 2023. We've tripled the size of the business since we bought it. That our team is so good, and they've been able to kind of operate it as if nothing happened. We treat our vendors well. We've invested in the space, make it look nice, and we have just some great vendors that sell really unique things. We get blogged about and YouTube videos done regularly about all the Disney merchandise and the unique vendors that we have. So it's just a great business story, because what was really negative for us, and what would have not been a standard approach, would be to take over an operating business as a real estate landlord. But with the versatility of our team and our focus on trying to make the best of all of our investments, by doing that, we've generated far more cash flow and financial benefit running that business than we would have as a just standard landlord. And it's been an opportunity to employ people, treat those vendors fairly, and just in general invest in the economy of Lakeland. So that is the story of the Lakeland Antique Mall.